Honorable members, we will continue from where we stopped. And now I invite the member for Talinding Kujang.
Okay, it's working now. Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. It is almost difficult to speak at this moment without re-echoing what previous speakers have elaborated on. Before I do that, some members of, honorable members, have condemned the statement that was made by the Honorable Minister, but I have a different understanding. Like Honorable Nominated Member has said, some have misconstrued it. I want to believe his intention is not to depict Parliament as a self-serving institution by saying that Parliament has made their own. By that is the truth. Because the act that the Constitution said the remuneration of speakers and deputy speakers and all other members shall be determined by an act of Parliament. Parliament made that because that's what concerns us. That's ours. But when it comes to these particular bills that is mentioned, that is also mentioned in the same Constitution, it couldn't in any way be generated from the Parliament. It has to come from the ministry. So it's not ours. Until it is presented to us, it is not ours. So I want to believe, I'm not reading his mind, I want to believe he said it in that spirit. And of course, Parliament cannot be blamed for a bill that has never come to Parliament since 1997. And that has to come from justice. So I don't think he's in any way blaming the House for that. Coming to the crux of the matter, the Honorable Minister, if I'm not, Honorable Speaker, if I'm not mistaken, he quoted Section 142, that says the remuneration of High Court judges. Superior judges should be determined by an act of Parliament. But Section 120 of the Constitution describes who are the superior courts, judges of the superior court. It said the courts of the Gambia are the Supreme Courts comprising the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and the High Court of the Gambia, etc. So the Constitution tells us who are the superior judges. So my question is, the judicial officers' remuneration and other entitled bill categorizes judicial offices including judges, judicial secretary, masters, the sheriff, the magistrate, and Qadi. My question is the formula areas of the Constitution, because they said superior judges. And obviously, what of this bill, I think it's important to understand that the judicial service play a crucial role in the democratization, the maintenance. Remember, Honorable Speaker, we are on tour as members of the Defense and Security Committee. Accidentally, we found a traveling magistrate. District courts and regional courts, high courts are operating in. That is why I'm also against the discriminating nature of the vehicle the allocation of vehicle with chauffeur, where it limits it to High Court judges and Chief Magistrate. I'm totally against it. To have my support for this bill, magistrate must be included, and even caddies must be included. They must be included. They deserve to be given a vehicle and a driver. Caddies deserve to be given a vehicle and a driver. They deserve it. Yes, people are talking about financial implication, cost on government. I will come to that. But I'm saying why it leaves out the caddies and magistrates to some extent. I'm not happy about that, and I think that's discriminatory. Because no one can say a judge of a high court works has more workload than a magistrate or a caddy. We see the workload they have. And I live with caddies who are renting. I saw magistrates who are renting. They board vehicles to go to work, to adjudicate on cases. And then even on security level, it seems like we see that the lives of the judge is more at risk than magistrates, than caddies. So these are all issues that I think we can look at thoroughly. And then with regards to killing the bill here, I don't think we will be fair to ourselves and conforming ourselves to the provisions of the Constitution if we kill it here. Because provision says we should provide for it. Now, if the institution that is responsible to bring it, so that we look at it and enact it, if they bring it, they have done their part. What is our part now to ensure that we do something that is in line with the provision of the Constitution? That act shouldn't be rejecting it. That act is to fine-tune it the way we want it to serve the interests of the country. Otherwise, we still not be exercising that provision of the Constitution that said an act of parliament should do this. And there are many of those things in the Constitution where it is said this should be done by an act of parliament. They have been left like that since 1997. So if this opportunity comes, I think we should look at this bill thoroughly and remove whatever we think is discriminatory and whatever we think is not sustainable in terms of cost on government, and think whatever and add whatever we think is, for instance, the regulation issue. When he said an act of parliament should establish this, and you are now taking the regulation aspect that should determine the salaries. It means I'm not determining the salary. I just give you a leeway, a latitude to decide what you put there. The law is saying I should decide their remuneration. Now, if I give you a free room with a regulation to go and do, could I control what is you put in the regulation? No. Like Honorable Mbo said here. I agree with him. I agree with him in total. It should be in the act. Their remuneration should be in the act. We should decide as representatives of the people to decide over that. You cannot divorce that from and put that in a regulation. I am totally against that method. And if I am to give it my support, those aspects that concerns their remuneration should be in the bill that members of parliament can scrutinize. Because you have other opportunities to scrutinize, to make further consultations. Like another person said, the ministry done a lot of consultation. We now have that opportunity to go and do further consultation again. Open up the consultation, invite people, invite consultants, invite specific groups, the bar and others. We have that opportunity now. But I think when it comes to judges, there are a lot of allowances and remunerations that are already in the budget. Yes, it's important to reiterate it in an act. Yes, but excluding other important sectors, other important members of the judiciary is serious as far as I'm concerned. So I think it's something we should when we are putting our take on it, we should fine tune it to the extent that it is applicable and is welcome by people of the Gambia. Because overall, I'm not sitting here as just a one individual. We have to sometimes mirror the opinions of the community we come from. People personally call me to tell me, don't approve this. I'm honest to my God. You know, sometimes they are laymen, yes. What do they see in the society now? They see it as senior people dividing national cake among the learned men, among people, elitism. That's how they are seeing it. And then we should try to our best to change that image in the country. People are now being seen as dividing national cake among the people in the top brass. You know, son? People call me, and people even text, you know, so that's how they perceive it. But for me, personally, I think there are areas that we can agree to be in this bill, especially those ones I mentioned. The caddies, the status of caddies and magistrates, and for judges, they have far too many privileges already. And then I'm not totally against the going home with the salary. It doesn't make sense to me. The lifetime security. Why him? Why the judges and not the president? No, the president will solely have it. But there are ministers who can serve the government for 10 years. Why not other people in senior government? Are these people more at risk or at threat than others? So we should be very careful, and then, you know, you look at the implications, like other people have said, how many judges could at some point have been retired, and we need to provide their lifetime security. And even at this moment, I think they have furnished houses and all this. Are magistrates having that? So all some of those things, yes. So these are the nitty-gritties we have to look at to say that this is possible, this is not possible. What is possible, we do that. What is not possible, we put that aside. But to wholesale take it and throw it away, we are still not doing the democratization process we are up to. You know, that totally I'm against that. To wholesale take it and throw it away. Let's not do that. Be mindful. This is we legislate. So whatever is there, now it is ours. We are taking ownership from the ministry. Whatever is not there also, they are taking ownership. So when the final things come out, it becomes Parliament's own, like he said. So for me, let's consider it thoroughly and look at it, scrutinize it, and sound the opinions of the people, expertise, and all those things to ensure that it serves the purpose. I would not want to bore you much. I think I can skip others. Yes. Yes, the moving allowance. You know, sometimes some of those things, you cannot comprehend how it you know, moving allowance. You understand? You know, when health and insurance cover, some of these things. So when it happens, it should be across the board, not just for high court judges. It includes the magistrates, the caddies. That's my position. Yes, let's work on all of them. If we have to work, we work on all of them. Let's not be selective, you know, because magistrates are doing a lot of work. They are inundated with a lot of work. And then you people are working on seeing how cases can be expedited because there is backlog of things. So if you don't give enough incentives to people who are like somebody said, remand, you go there is full. And I saw in one newspaper this day, a judge refused to go to attend cases because the driver did not come to pick him. The driver was sick. So all these things affects proceedings in court. Mobility is important. So it shouldn't be limited to only High Court judge. That's my argument. I think all of them across should have it if there should be any. And then those that are not relevant in my consideration, we look at those ones and see how we do a proper enactment of this. With that few remarks, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, member for Talinding. I now invite the member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I don't think I'll be wasting the time of the Parliament, because as far as I'm concerned, most of the points that I want to dwell on have already been deliberated by my fellow honorable members.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The business before us, or the bill before us, is an interesting one. And I was the news of the coming of this particular bill. And I know we became very popular because the bill is coming to us. Much has been said with regards to what should be done. And I equally want to determine the remuneration, salary and allowance, and that of the gratuity and the retirement benefits. These are very interesting areas. I want to believe whether actually, if these come under a regulation and they are not in the Act, like how do we have control over this? Because this remuneration need to be determined by the National Assembly. Every sector of the economy is an important component. I can see the idea of actually motivating the judges. I think that is very, very important. It's good to motivate them, fine, in order to facilitate their work, particularly the lower cadre. But even you look at within the judiciary, there is gross discrimination. And I don't think the National Assembly should ascribe to that, which is very, very important. Even if you come to the National Assembly, in terms of our remuneration, there are some discrepancies that exist because certain positions come with responsibilities. And that is why we have to look at that. But if you look at the major issues, it is cross-cutting. Irrespective of elected or nominated, we are all equal. So I don't think the issue of discrimination, we should be part and parcel of that, which is very key. And one thing that I want to emphasize, there is no sector of the economy, be it in the public and civil service, that does not need salary increment, because there is huge disparity between the source of income and cost of living. And that's why from the very beginning, we've been pushing seriously so that we have what we call salary restructuring. And this has not been coming. I want to believe that if we go in for this thing, this will also provoke certain sector of the economy to come up for another salary increment. I think it would have been ideal if we want to look at the issue of salary. It would have been a broader perspective, because there was no salary increment where the judiciary were excluded along the line. But even with that, we still have these discrepancies going up, because the trend in which we have been increasing salary is helping the highest cadre than the lowest cadre. So that is why we need to bridge that disparity gap to a level whereby people will have a living source of income. That is something which is very, and they need to be factored very seriously. And there are instances whereby if people are going to be convicted, particularly by the magistrate, sometimes they accompany them to the prisons. You look at the type of exposure that they are subject to. The family will despise you. They'll be angry against you for doing your job. So the type of risk associated to them, I don't think this bill should come and exclude them completely. So that is why right now, as far as I'm concerned, for it to go back and relook at it, so that you can come out with a better one. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, the member for Brikama South. I now give the floor to the member for Jara Central.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for granting me the opportunity to also partake in this humble discussion before us this afternoon. Honorable Speaker, I also thank the Honorable Minister for the bold step he took in bringing forward this bill to this August Assembly. Of course, Honorable Speaker, the National Assembly is aware that the judiciary of any nation symbolizes the administration of justice under the rule of law. So if you look at the objects and reasons, Honorable Speaker, of this bill, which is Judicial Officers' Remuneration and Other Entitlements Bill 2023, are very clear. Very clear objectives and reasons. If you look at it, the second paragraph of the objects and reasons of this bill, if you may allow me, Honorable Speaker, say the judiciary play a very pivotal role in the administration of justice. Of course, the Assembly also is aware of this. But what we are saying, Honorable Speaker, is that the draft constitution was here before this Assembly in 2020, and so many issues pop up during the debate of that bill. Many of my honorable colleagues who have spoke before me have echoed and re-echoed that this bill was among the things that were embedded in the draft constitution, which of course led to some members, including myself, to reject it. Honorable Speaker, yes, we can amend. We can amend. Okay.
He said yes, you said continue. Honorable Speaker, you've already made a ruling on this and we all avoided it, and then the Honorable Member is indulging in it again.
Honorable Member for Woolly is...
You've already made a ruling on this, that we should avoid this draft constitution and concentrate on the bill. And the Honorable Member is indulging in it again.
Oh, now I get you. Yes, Honorable Members, please, let's confine ourselves to the general merits and the principles of the bill, please. I'm sure you could have just raised a point of order instead of observation. Thank you, Member for Woolly East. Honorable Member for Jara Central, continue,
okay,
please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, what we are saying is that we'll be setting a precedent, of course. We'll be setting a precedent. If we have to pass this bill, we'll be setting a precedent, of course, in the sense that we have similar stakeholders or public service groups, which you know, they are also concerned in terms of remuneration. Some members have spoken here that the magistrates, of course, whom you know, are working with these High Court judges. They are all in the same premises in terms of executing duties. So if we have to deal with remuneration of judges and leaving out remuneration of magistrates, I'm not sure whether we'll be doing justice in that direction. So to me, Honorable Speaker, I would have expected the Honorable Minister to include the magistrates and other key stakeholders in the arms of the judiciary to be included in this humble bill. The other issue is, Honorable Speaker, it is, of course, one of the government reforms agendas to come up with a salary restructure. By looking at the objects and reasons of the bill, we will not see anything that focuses on that direction. And to be frank, Honorable Speaker, salary restructure should have been the best bill to bring at this right time in order to boost the earning capacity of public servants. Some members have said that we need to take this bill and commit it to a committee. It will be difficult, and in fact, it's going to be questionable as to whether we will come in terms in debating that report. I would not waste much time of the National Assembly in terms of debating on this bill, but what I am sure of is that allowing the bill to be committed to a committee is just almost a waste of energy and time. Honorable Speaker, the objects and reasons continues to read as follows, Honorable Speaker. The bill further seeks to regulate the conditions of service of judges of the Superior Court and judicial staff. As I have mentioned earlier, and the speakers who have spoken before me also, what about the condition of magistrates? What about the condition of magistrates? On that note, Honorable Speaker, I would want to urge the Honorable Minister to explain to me and the humble House as to what prompted him to come up with this bill and then leaving the interest of the public service in terms of restructuring salaries and all whatnot. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. I now recognize the member for Jimara.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, members of the National Assembly, the members of press, and the general public, I bring you greetings and salutation. Honorable member, at some point I even wanted to withdraw because minority leader has already spoken my mind. But Honorable Speaker, just to add few words, when I was sitting here listening to some members deliberating, on the matter that is of concern. First of all, I want to thank the Honorable Minister for bringing this bill. I'm not thanking him because I am well with the bill, but I'm thanking him because he's fulfilled his constitutional responsibility. Honorable Speaker, one thing I cannot take in this August Assembly, and the idea that I cannot understand is the idea of killing bills on their arrival. That is very bad. That is not telling well to our democracy, and it's also not telling well to even our understanding of our own laws and our mandates. As I said, it is their constitutional responsibility to draft something and bring it to the National Assembly. To me, it's just for them to give us an idea of what they want to do. But the rest lies in our own hands. Honorable member for nominated member Keba Lang has said it here. He has quoted a constitutional provision, Section 100, that gives us the powers to legislate. That is why we are called National Assembly members, lawmakers. For God's sake, we are not snipers that are we are not snipers that are ordered to eliminate anything that looks like an enemy. Yes, we are here to make laws. When they presented their bill, you have the powers to reduce this thing to even to zero. So I would prefer for us to take it to the next level, take it to the committee, do the necessary or what is necessary, and then come out with the solution. If you rush to a decision without proper consultation, you stand the risk of having inadequate information. You also stand the risk of taking poor decision quality, and also that of lack of stakeholders buy-in. You have a lot of stakeholders in this thing. So my position is for us to take it to committee. It has to go to the committee. The committee will do the needful. You know, there is a reason why we have committees in the National Assembly. If we don't have trust and confidence in those committees, the best thing is for us to eliminate all the committees and be here as animal kingdom. Whoever want to do whatever you want to do, you do that. So I urge all members to be very careful, to be very mindful. You know, in making laws, you don't rush. You take your time, you consult. Point of order. Thank you.
There is point of order from the member for Woolly East. Can we hear a point of order, sir?
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Section 32, permissible interruptions. 1, no member, except the Speaker, shall interrupt any other member, except A, by rising to question or a point of order, whether proper procedures have been or are being followed, etc. The Honorable Member for Lower Fuladu is always interjecting and asking people their questions, their positions before they are ready. That is not your role. You need to keep quiet and listen to people. Thank you.
Point of order sustained. Honorable members, please let's leave our colleagues on their own to present their opinions. Honorable member for Jimara, please continue.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable member for Woolly East, for that wonderful point of order. And yes, as I was saying, Honorable Speaker, I don't want to waste the time of the National Assembly. You know, I want to urge all members for us to be very mindful, refer it to a committee. You know, we do the needful, and then come up with recommendations. At the end of the day, the committee can only recommend. You know, we come back here and take our final decision. As long as the minister or the ministry or the people concerned are ready, or are willing, or are open for further negotiation, we cannot discuss all the specific due to our procedures. But that can be done when the committee has its recommendation. Then members will put their inputs, not only to put their input, but experts will be engaged and other stakeholders will be engaged so that we have a bill that will be citizen-friendly. We will have a bill that will be economic-friendly as opposed to what people think. So thank you on that note. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The member for Jimara, you said we are not snipers, but can I ask, are we or do we hold a knife and scissors to cut? But don't answer, please. Thank you very much. I now invite the member for Fonyi Bintang.
Thank you, Honorable. The interest of this country. Because we know that this country, the fate of it lies in our hands. We're fighting it now. We will defend this country, come what may. Who is telling you that as a church, at the end of your time, you will not have employment or work? Who is stopping you from farming? Who is stopping you from fishing? Nobody is stopping you. So you are stopping yourself. You are welcome to our field. You can become a fisherman and nobody will stop you. Actually, this nation will be defended. Democracy, you are saying that we've had this to the Committee for Progress of Democracy. We are not calling for democracy. What we are calling for is for a nation that can stand and defend its resources. If democracy means looting, we are not part of it. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, the member for Fonyi Bintang. I now recognize the member for Lower Fuladu West.
I'm going to ask you.
Thank you very much. I think this is overdue. But before I start, you see, we don't want senior NAMs to play, I've supported a draft. I did not support a draft. This is a bill before us, and it's not going. This has to be dead here. Let's put it straight. And then, you see, something is happening in the gallery. Because you defended the draft, and this was in the draft, you continue to defend it. It will not work here. This is the 6th legislature. Smart, intelligent NAMs, we are saying no. This should die here. And this is part of parliamentary procedures. When something is going and we know it's not in the interest of the nation, dead on arrival. And this is dead. In fact, Speaker, the people of Lower Fuladu told me that first, we don't expect that the minister is going to come with this thing in parliament. When it goes, they realize that this is gadgeted. They said, please, do not partake to it. We are against it. We will not support it. And I'm against it. And I'm not supporting it. And I'm urging all members not to support this. Let's be fair. This country has to move on. Look, we just see an FPAC report what is happening. Yesterday, I'm crying in my heart. I feel by now so many people could have been arrested. But there is no arrest, and again another thing is happening, another looting or another coup d'etat, economic coup d'etat. It's not going to be accepted. Please, with due respect to NAMS, everybody, sending it to committee, we are just delaying and wasting time. Mr. Speaker, my position, and I've got a lot of position, they say dead and this is going to die. We are not going to support it. You see, here we represent the interests of the people. Everybody knows what is happening in your constituency. They consulted us and said, this is something that should not go because if you do this thing, so many other areas are sending their requests. Education, health. Are these people better than us? Are these people contributing to this country more than we are doing? Look, thank you, Honorable Fonyi Bintang Karanai. You see, after becoming a judge, when you retire, Jakari Pachat is there. We have vast land for you to go and work. It's free, self-employment. The river is there. We have nets that the government can even give you to go and catch fish. Employment is readily available. Please, colleagues, members of parliament, I urge all of you to condemn it. And don't even suggest for committee. My position is no committee is finished here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, member for Lower Fuladu West. I now recognize the member for Jara West.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. First of all, let me use the opportunity to thank the Honorable Minister for tabling this bill. Honorable Speaker, I will be very, very, very brief. I don't want to take long. But I will first, my intervention will start with the comparison that the Honorable Minister came up when he was moving his motion. And then as you can see, the comparison continued in the bill. Because you can see the Chief Justice is compared to the Vice President. The judges, we should be very mindful with that. Because like people said, this thing came out, I think, before I received this bill. People have been calling me, asking me about this thing. I have a police officer who told me, in the judge's risk allowance, who is more risky than the police officer who is going to arrest? The officer is facing more risk than the judge. Now the judge also is asking for security at his compound. When bandits, armed men come, who are they going to attack first? The security officer. So who is more risky now? We should be very, very mindful when we are dealing with this. For me, I want the minister to gather this and go back. Let them bring us salary restructure for all institutions. For all the institutions. Because, you know, people, we are insulted. If we pass this today, we can hear every sort of nonsense. Insults, a lot of insults. Because as Honorable Baji said, the member for Talindi, people are now saying only those at the top cadre are just enjoying the Gambian cake. So we should avoid that. We have teachers. Let's motivate teachers to go and teach as far as Bolibana. Let's see what incentive we have to give them to give quality education to our kids. So what is the essence of the bill anymore? That's confusing. Let's just stop it here. Let them go and prepare another thing. Let them bring salary restructure for all civil servants, all government institutions, and we see what to do about it. The officers are suffering. Teachers are suffering. There are better facilities, hospitals, but they lack quality doctors. Nobody wants to go to the provinces. People are calling me from all over. I said, a police officer, he said, our house rent is $250. What can that pay? So, Honorable Minister, I think you have to put your house in order. Because also, by quoting also the section 120 of the Constitution, the judicature, we have the magistrate, the industrial tribunals. Why others are catered for under the judiciary and others are left behind? It's not fair. So on that note, Honorable Speaker, for me, I'm not giving it my blessings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, for being very brief, and I wouldn't want to be in a session where you will not be brief. Now the member for Combo South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think our executive have a problem. September is a very bad month for the executive. September 2022, that was the Black Day for the Gambia. And here we are again on the 12th of September. We have another controversial document before us. Honorable Speaker, I think these reports or documents before us need some cleaning. And I want to support the idea of not killing this bill at this stage. Members have to understand we need to go by our documents, our instruments. The standing order is very clear. When a bill is mentioned, from standing order number 63 to 75, it gives you all the opportunities to go through and do all the needful that you need to do. And that is a process and a learning process, and that is a learning point for the mover of the bill. So the Honorable Minister is going to learn so that all what is being said here, he will go back to his team, discuss with them, and look at the loopholes and show the mistakes that they have made and try to amend it. And I think that is very important for us, Honorable Speaker. It is very important as National Assembly members, let's do our work according to the dictates of the Constitution and the standing orders. As others will say, the Bible and the Quran. Because this is what is going to keep the National Assembly alive. And if we do not do, we are not going to be supporting the ideals and the ideas of our representative. We must remember, we are representing our people. Section 112 is telling us of the 1997 Constitution, whatever we are going to do in these chambers has to be in the best interest of the Gambia people and our conscience. And our conscience will not be fulfilled if we do not go back to our representatives. So committing this to a committee, we are opening it up to our people. We can call people from Wuli, we can call people from Sandu, we can call people from Kantora, all over the country to come and share their views and their position on this document. That is the only way we will be moving with our people. Honorable members, and I think we need to understand, we should be able to differentiate these three arms that we are talking about: the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. One thing that we need to understand is the judiciary depends on the legislature for resources and programs that they need to do. That's what they are doing. They are only here for us to help them, to give them the resources to be able to do their work. But that work that they want to do, if the resources that they are doing are above the timeline that is not in the best interest of the Gambian people, we can say to the minister, this is not sustainable and it is not in the best interest of our people, and we will be in line with Section 102 of the 1997 Constitution. Honorable Speaker, this for me, that is my point, and I think we should from here henceforth should not be killing bills at this center at the first reading or second reading. Let's give it all the necessary steps that are needed, and that will be a learning point for all of us and everybody who is going to participate in this. On this note, Honorable Speaker, let's give this to the committee and they do the needful and bring it back here. If it is not satisfactory, then we can send it to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, member for Combo South. I now invite the member for Sandu.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. The bill before us today is very important. As previous speakers alluded, this is a bill very controversial. And to not waste the time of the House, I want to believe that this bill is not a citizen-friendly bill. It is not also a budget-friendly bill. Owing to the fact that just some days ago,
the Honorable Minister responsible for finance was before us here. He has alluded to the difficulties, that the constraints that we have in our budget distribution. We have sectors, education, health, and other sectors that are crying for budget shortage. And the time of bringing this bill is not favorable. What do we explain? What do we explain to the people? What is our reason that we want to pass this bill at this very fragile time? My stance is more of economical than anything else. That we don't have the resources, we don't have the affordability to pass this bill at this most crucial time. We are budget constrained. What we need to do right now is to mobilize resources, to increase our efforts in mobilizing resources, to make sure we stand on our feet as an independent nation, not to rely on outside support. We can do it. But we have to curtail our expenses. Most of the budget is going on personal emoluments. What is our development budget? For me, my submission is more of economical, and for that reason, I'm not consenting to this bill at this stage. Until we increase our mobilization efforts, then we can come in with a bill like this. For that reason, I'm urging the minister to withdraw this and go back until we are ready as a nation, until we are ready as a nation to foot a bill like this. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You are rising on what?
I just want to announce my presence and appearance, please.
Huh? Oh, you are announcing your presence. Yes. Let me inform you that your turn was due, and I called you to give you the opportunity, but you were in. Minority, yes, minority. Thank you very much. Thank you, Member for Sandu. I now invite the Member for Sanementre.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I've gone through the bill, the Judicial Officer Remuneration and Other Entitlements Bill. And having gone through this document, Honorable Speaker, I'll be very much briefed. But I also want us to remind ourselves, we the honorable members of this assembly, let's remind ourselves with the retired police officers. How are they moving around? How much are they earning as a pension in this country? Let's remind ourselves with the retired teachers. How much are they earning as a pension in this country? And many other people, civil servants. who got retired in this country and how much are receiving as a pension. Honorable Speaker, as alluded by most of the National Assembly members, my colleagues, having deliberated on some of the areas in this document that we need to throw out this particular bill. That is my stand. And I will boldly stand in this parliament to show the whole Gambia, and of course the member of this parliament, Honorable Speaker, that I am representing Sani Mentoring constituency, and the people of Sani Mentoring constituency are completely against this bill, that we should throw it out, and I concur with them, because I am their representative. Honorable Speaker, having gone through this document, clause 18A, which reads, pension equal to last salary in service shall be payable to the occupant of the office of the Chief Justice who retires after serving as such for a period of 5 years. Honorable Speaker, I cannot even understand this statement, number one. So I will urge the Honorable Minister to elaborate more on this, to my understanding. B, which reads, any other judge of a superior court shall enjoy a pension of full salary upon retirement after serving for at least 10 years. As I said earlier, how much is a retired teacher or a retired police officer receiving as a pension in this country? I don't think it is fair enough for this statement to be part of this bill. And also the C reads, any other judge of a superior court who at retirement has served for less than 10 years but more than 5 years shall be entitled to a pension of 3/4 of his last salary. Honorable Speaker, I believe, yes, I'm just quoting from the bill itself. Honorable Speaker.
Sorry, please, order. Honorable member, please, honorable, please sit down, ma. Honorable member, you know, when you quoted first and second, I just allow you, but that is not in order. We should confine ourselves on the general merits and principles of the bill, and we avoid going into the specific of the bill by quoting provisions and highlighting. Thank you, ma. You may continue.
Thank you very much. That's okay, Honorable Speaker. But entirely, we're speaking about the bill. I am talking about the bill, and my stand, in conclusion, is that I am completely against this bill, because I am reminding myself about the ex-police officers and the retired teachers, and I felt that this money or pensions or whatever the judges are claiming to be pensions or whatever payment they are supposed to be given, I expect that to be spent on the youths and the women to empower them in this country. An MOU of 2018 was signed to $20 million in 2018, which was there to empower the youths in agriculture. We don't even know how it was implemented. And I expect we should come back and review that area and then look at ways that we can empower the youths and women of this country. Thank you very much. In conclusion, I am completely against this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the member for Sani Mentoring. I now invite the member for Upper Fuladu West.
Well, thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker. First of all, I would like to thank the Minister of Justice and the Justice Department, and then Honorable National Assembly members and all those present in these chambers. I think the bill before us is very, very important in the sense because if you look at the judicial component, because they are also a component in government, which is very, very important. But going through the objective and reasons of the bill, like where it states the judicial of any nation symbolizes the administration of justice under the rule of law, which is a crucial factor in good governance and ultimately a sine qua non to the peace and security of any nation. And the judicial therefore played a very pivotal role in administering justice and maintaining the rule of law. Ultimately, it is a critical player in the realm of democracy and constitution development and have a key role as one of the three pillars of state component. So it is in this backdrop that necessitated the need for this bill. Anyway, if you look at the judicial component, it's very, very important because we all know the role that they play as far as governance and government is concerned. But in my sincere opinion, I know I am not in the heart of the Justice Minister, but if he can talk to this August Assembly, frankly, that this bill is drafted without his consent. Maybe he's not the very one who drafted this bill. This bill is drafted, though he's the Justice Minister, but maybe he cannot come openly to disagree with the bill. But I'm pretty much sure that the Justice Minister himself is not in line with this bill, simply because if you look at the bill,
Honorable Member, please take his.
Yes, because if you
Honorable Member, please. Honorable Member, please put off your mic. Honorable Member, please. Let's debate on the general merits and let us not sound the personal opinion of ministers or the Vice President. Please, he's out of order. Who is that? Please, Member for Kiang West, please. He's out of order.
Well, okay.
Please, please sit down. Honorable Member for Latikunda. No, Honorable Member for Latikunda. Honorable Member for Latikunda. You said you know the orders. Please, please, sir, let's maintain decorum and follow the standing orders. And even the way you address me is disrespectful to this assembly. You are putting the office of the Speaker and the assembly at disrepute. Please. Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West, please refrain from asking the minister's personal opinion or putting him.
Okay, thank you so much. Then I withdraw that statement. I am very, very sorry indeed. But what I just want to put across here, like what the Englishman says, you cannot put an old wine in a new container, assuming that that old wine is a new wine. It's just that the container has been changed. Because many speakers have alluded that the main reason why they rejected the draft constitution, this was, part of it. Why is it that the drafters, they expunge this one from the draft constitution and bring it as a bill to the parliament? For me, the way I am seeing things might be bringing it to parliament in order to dribble the parliament, but it cannot be business as usual. Because if you read what is codified in this document, you will definitely realize that it's very, very segregatory. Because I am a little bit confused, and I would definitely want the minister to explain that to this August Assembly. Because if you go through this document, you will come to see, a lot have been said about judges and then judicial officers, but magistrates and cadis, as other speakers have alluded, are not captured in this document. And then, if you look at the judicial component, all these are key players and they are all important. Because to me, the work that is done, what magistrate, the work that they do, the High Court judges, they are not doing that work. Because magistrates are spread in the length and the breadth of this country. Because we all know that the work that they have doing and also the sufferation that they have undergone. If you also look at the CADI, they are also under the judicial component. But you cannot draft a bill whereby only one part of that component will be captured, then the remaining ones are sidelined. For me, I am not anti-judicially, or I am not here to say definitely, or we should not do this or that. But what I will advise the drafters, I will advise them to go back and draft it properly and then bring it back to the parliament, because it cannot be business as usual. And before I draw conclusion, Honorable Speaker, I want people to understand that what is in Buddhist is not always what is in Badas. So I beg to take my seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I wish you had enough time to tell us what you mean by what is in Buddhist.
No, sorry.
No. Please. Another time, not today. Another time, sir. Now, the member for Janjamure.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for taking your time to bring forward such a bill. But then, I equally want to join my colleagues to share what I think is the opinion of my electorates, because it's about representation, and as such, we always do what we call consultations with those that send us in these important chambers. However, Honorable Speaker, I think after listening to the deliberation of my colleagues and also reflecting on the economic situation of this country, I want to believe that your timing is indeed bad. Why do I say this? I think in the month of August, September or so, we believe it is always a dry period. It's always difficult for citizens. And looking at the Gambian environment, I think most of the people, more especially the electorates among the citizens, are more of farmers, meaning their income earnings are very, very low. Therefore, bringing such a bill for it to help in addressing the welfare of the judiciary system, I am not really convinced if the time is really apt. Therefore, I would recommend for you to go back with your bill and continue to consult with your drafters to come up with something that would be convincing. Even colleagues who were saying that we should send this to a committee for scrutiny and review are still not convinced that this is what we definitely expect at this very moment. Therefore, I wouldn't really think it is important to send this to a relevant committee for scrutiny, but instead for you to go back with this particular bill to the staffs of the judiciary to further look into.
Honorable Member, please take a seat, sir. It's approaching 5:30. I, at this time, suggest that want to move either to sit beyond and on. Member for Opanyomi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a motion that this assembly sit beyond 6 o'clock. Thank you.
And do what?
To finish business in hand.
No. All you do?
Second the motion. The motion is we sit beyond 6 o'clock and finish business. And finish this particular motion.
No.
Business.
No.
This particular bill.
Please, take a seat.
Bill.
Yeah, take a seat, sir. You know, the member for Upper Nyomi have not put up a proper motion. That's why I gave you the floor to raise a motion, but not a second, because if not, I'll give him the floor back to put up a motion, to amend his motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Then I rise to move a motion that we sit beyond 6 o'clock and to finish the bill at hand. The bill. The bill, I mean, the bill. Not the business, the bill.
Honorable members, order please. Honorable members, please, earlier on I requested that, please, Deputy Majority Leader, please, for him to amend his motion because it was incomplete. And he came up with a second time to amend the motion, but he is restricting it only to this motion and not the order of business for today. That's why I was doing some consultation.
Let me amend.
Because there's already a motion on the floor, because for him, I'm not sure if you want to withdraw, because his motion is only for this business.
Please, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, then I withdraw my motion first.
All right. Member for Kantora?
Yeah, I want to appeal to other members. Looking at this session is a very short session, and in a week time, we'll be close to adjourning. And we have a lot of unfinished business. So let's please endeavor to finish the business at hand and adjourn. Please.
All the businesses today.
Yes, yes.
Member for Lower Salum?
And secondly also, clarification please. And secondly, dinner has been provided for us to have.
Member for Lower Salum?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I rise to move motion to sit beyond 6 o'clock and finish business.
Any seconder? Oriundum?
I second that motion.
It is moved and seconded that we finish beyond 6 o'clock to finish business on the order paper. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. The member for Janjambure, please continue.
Thank you very much, Speaker. What I was trying to put across here is, I think it will be important for this August Assembly to be considerate with time. What do I mean to say to be considerate with time is referring this bill to a committee when they have a whole lot of work presiding over other bills. I think that shouldn't be something that we should go by. What we should do here is to allow Minister to go back with his bill, do the needful, and ensure that at least it meets 50% of our expectations than the way it is. Also, considering the economy of this country, I think just 2-3 weeks ago, the Minister of Finance actually banned all international travels for the simple reason that he said the government don't have money. Yesterday, when the FPAC report was here before us, some of the issues that actually emanated was, for example, with the young people of this country, even an office space, the government cannot build it for them. They are still renting. Since those days when some of us were youth leaders, we have been renting a space to preside over youth matters, and the trend continues. Honorable Speaker, with regards to the same young people, I think 2-3 years ago, there was a fund that were rolling out to actually build multi-purpose sporting facilities in the regions. It clocks about 4 years. Those structures are still incomplete.
Honorable, please.
Simply because we don't have the money. And now we are bringing forward a bill to cater for the judiciary. Personally, I'm not against the judiciary, and I can attest to the fact that they're doing really a great job. And we should indeed work very hard to endeavor that the judiciary are completely independent. But again, I'm not convinced that it is only money that should actually serve as a motivation for some of us in serving the Gambia. We have seen people volunteering their time for years without earning a dalasi, but they're still committed to the cause. Talk less of those that are earning in a month a minimum of $50,000 or $75,000. A security, an official car, a utility car, and we are saying they're still demotivated. I don't want to believe in some of those things. I think with the judiciary, more especially with the judges, we have given them a lot in order to serve the interests of this nation. And why are we doing this? Because we want the judiciary to be as independent as anything. So for me, this bill might come at a better time, more especially if the Ministry of Finance can work indeed hard to mobilize more resources, more especially around revenue mobilization. As we speak in this country, things are not going fine. Even the farmers are crying. Right now, you go to my constituency. The farmers there have harvested their crops, but they cannot in fact have a simple tracing machine to do the needful. And we are here saying we should pay judges a pension that is as equal as to their salary. Where on earth have we seen such? Where on earth? I think we need answers in order to be convinced. Honorable Speaker, for me, I wouldn't say we should throw the bill because there were efforts made to actually put up this bill together. And we shouldn't really make those efforts to be worthless. This is why I want to propose, and I want to make it very clear. As much as I'm not in support of the bill, it will be better for the Honorable Minister to go back with his bill to the Ministry of Justice, let them preside over it, and see some of the things that you heard from the honorable members that you can incorporate in the bill in order to suit the aspirations of the members and as well as Gambians as a whole. On that note, I will take my seat, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I now give the floor to the member for Latikunda, Sabiji.
Thank you very much. It's already dark and my eyes are not seeing well. But I will try to see what I have written here. Honorable members, I think we need to reconsider when bills are brought before the National Assembly. There are processes. Let's ask ourselves, what pleasure or pride do we have to say, let's kill it here, let's bury it here, let's do so, let's do A, B, and C. In my considered opinion, let's refer the bill to the committee. By way of that, the committee is going to expose the process to wider public consultation. Let's remember we are only 53 National Assembly members. We have 2 million people that we are making these laws for. When we refer the bill to the committee is going to do extensive and wider public consultation. When they come back with that report now, we now know this is actually what Gambians say. Some of you are saying, my constituency told me this. And I'm sure it's less than 2% of the people told it. If 2,000 voted for you, you have stopped Honorable Baron. If 2,000 people voted for you, you cannot convince me that you have spoken to all the 2,000 people and they told you to come and say here, no to the bill. I'm sure that is totally impossible. So let's reconsider.
Point of observation, Speaker.
I'm appealing to honorable members. Let's reconsider. Subject this bill to the
honorable observation, please.
So when the relevant committee.
Honorable observation, please. So when
that happens now, they will bring their report. I'm sure that report is going to be a very progressive report. I can see the disturbance on the AG with regards to recruiting judges. For where AG got it all wrong is where he compare and contrast National Assembly to the Judiciary. Probably you thought that was going to motivate us to say what is good for the goose is good for the gander. But this has definitely provoked the action of some National Assembly members. I'm sure that was not well placed. But I beg you people in the name of Allah, let's give this bill to the committee. We are not killing the bill. The bill will go to the committee and the committee will get back to us. Then we can have an informed decision. There are troubles recruiting judges in this country. I have to be very, very honest. There are troubles. Judges are not, people in the bar are not enticed or motivated to go to the bench because of the small amount of benefits. What they said can be reduced. Instead of giving them full salary, we can say half of your salary. Instead of giving them 2 months paid vacation, we can say no, 1 month paid vacation. We can say no, we are not giving you judges. And I think you also need to be very clear with us. I have a few questions that I want you to answer for me. How many judges do we have in the Gambia, from the High Court up to the Supreme Court? I also want to know what is the projected cost of all these benefits and salaries when they are combined for all these judges. He knows what I'm talking about. And also, are non-Gambians included in this benefit? Non-Gambian judges, are they included in this benefit? And also, me and you know there are judges that doesn't deliver cases for the past 2 years. Are we ready to subject all judges to performance contract? Where we're going to tell them, you must deliver so and so cases in such a week. We can tell them, you must at least deliver 50 cases a year. So by way of this performance contract, we can now see how do we motivate our judges. But I go back to what I said. Honorable members, I beg you in the name of Allah, let's subject this bill to the committee. We still have, this committee is still run by us. If it is the Human Rights Committee, the Social Agency, it's still National Assembly members who are going to interact. Will the public, you're going to call the, and we are saying that the bill has affected so people. We are saying that.
There is point of order from Member for Panyomi. Member Kane. Please put off your mic.
Honorable Speaker, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, Order 67, 1, second reading of the bill. On a motion being moved that a bill be read a second time, the general merits and the principle of the bill may be debated. We are here to debate on the general merit and the principle of the bill. What the honorable member is asking, that's one is at the committee stage. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because, thank you. He asked several questions, and some are seemingly on general, and I'm not sure the other one, how many judges are there directly specific. I will come back on this. We have proceed.
Thank you very much. Finally, most of us said the bill has affected so and so section of the society. This is the essence of a bill referring to the committee for consultation. The magistrates are going to be consulted, the Qadi members are going to be consulted, the lawyers, the private lawyers are going to be consulted. Then by way of that, the committee is going to bring us something for consumption. Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now I invite the member for Serekunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my argument will be surrounded around Section 142, which talks about the remuneration of judges.
142 of which book?
Of the Constitution. Section 142. No, sorry, section, is it 142? Yeah, which talks about the remuneration of judges. And this bill includes others that are not catered for in this provision. So to my understanding, there is a question of the legality of this bill. So on that note, I would like the Attorney General to dilate more on that. So I will also recommend for this provision to be either amended or repealed in order for us to be able to discuss about this bill. Because this bill includes magistrates, and the provision is talking about remuneration of judges. As the Honorable Member for Talinding cited, Section 120 has explained who are the Superior Court judges. They don't include magistrates and cadis. So again, with the issue of salaries, I will also recommend for government to establish a salary review commission that will look into the food basket and of every household and responsibilities of household heads to design a new salary structure. Thank you very much. On that note, I submit.
The member for Latikunda Savage. Okay, he's gone. All right. The member for Kantora.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I've listened very keenly. The business before us here is a bill presented by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General for the judicial officers' remuneration and other entitlements. Pursuant to the Standing Order 18, what we should do is to debate the principles and the merits of the bill, which has been advanced in the bill. When the Minister of Justice moved for the Parliament to read this bill second time. Honorable Speaker, before going to the bill proper, the founders of democracy today, wherever they are more than the word happy. What really manifests here is a true democratic autonomous parliament. Dissenting views, divergent opinion has been manifested. At a point, you wouldn't know where is the minority side, where is the majority side. This has been driven by the sense of nationalism, sense of nation force. Honorable Speaker, the bill before us is for the National Assembly members to do their constitutional mandate. The only approving authority, as far as bills are concerned, is this August Assembly. It is in that spirit that the executive has fulfilled their obligation, respecting this very institution, to lay down this bill before us, to have our bite. And it is based on that today we are deliberating the pros and cons, merits and demerits of the bill. And when I listen keenly, what really manifests in the chambers, people are really in support to look at it keenly, exhaust every avenue, and see how best we can tie it up. It's a learning lesson for the executive and also a learning lesson for the parliament. Honorable Speaker, information is very key. You can't make an informed decision without getting the requisite knowledge or understanding of an issue. Based on that spirit, I am appealing the entire House for us to take time, peruse through this document, understand the nitty-gritty, understand the sense, understand the spirits, and what it aims to achieve. It is only through rigorous perusal, through committee referrals for us to understand at committee level, do a broader spectrum of consultation, invite relevant stakeholders, and tidy it up there so that the executive will know that we are up to task in defending into the country, in uplifting the integrity of this parliament. Honorable Speaker, as I alluded, when this bill is referred to the relevant establishment, the House will sit down and discuss informally. It is not a formal engagement, but very informal. Knowing that, of course, we will give the all rights and privilege for the tool of the committee, that is for the committee to look at it. Honorable members of Parliament, Honorable Speaker, this bill is not a Quran and a Bible that say you can't touch it. Myself, I have serious reservations on this bill that I wouldn't be a party to pass it at its original form. If I am to pass it now, my position is to reject it forthwith. But it's because I have an avenue, I have an opportunity to look at it, to dissect the bill, clause by clause, part by part, to put my input there, I will take the chance to sit with the committee to add my input. We understand that every member that spoke here, you are driven by your conscience, you are driven by national interest. We cannot be seeing things equally. Nobody has uttered a word that is wrong. If we should think alike, then we are not thinking in these chambers. It is obvious that we should think differently. It's obvious that we cannot see the same thing at the same time. So I'm appealing again for members to give the benefit of the doubt, for the bill to refer to the relevant committee and allow a broader consultation, tidy it up as the way you have a reservation, that is the same way we also have a reservation on the bill. And I assure you, we will go at every length to make sure that this bill stands the test of time. It is not enough just to have a bill before you, read through it and pass it. If we can add value, if we can add substance, if we can eradicate discrimination on the bill, there is an opportunity for us. I'm appealing to all of you for us to look at it, to end discrimination. This parliament should not involve. This parliament should not aid and abet anything that would disenfranchise, that would discriminate any other sector of society. Every sector is relevant. And it's in that spirit we are calling each and every one of us that all the reservation you have, let's bring it to the floor of the committee and engage the minister and put those things before them. Honorable Speaker, during the consultation, we will also write the Minister of Finance to come and explain to us the financial implication. Members of Parliament has also raised an eyebrow on the financial burden of the state. It's something we should really consider. And that is why it's important for the minister to also extend the invitation to the Minister of Finance to come and advise the committee on the financial implication of this bill, to make sure that any decision we are taking we will not regret at the end of the day. We have country at heart, and inshallah we'll do the needful with this bill. Honorable Minister, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Minister, we want to apologize for the language being used. And I think when he comes to respond, he will apologize for the comparison.
Point of order.
This has really hurt. Yes.
There is a point of order from the member for Fonyi Bintang.
Honorable Speaker, point of order 29. 1. Every member shall restrict his or her observation to the subject under discussion. The honorable member is an honorable member of Parliament and not the minister. Cannot apologize on behalf of the minister. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Majority Leader, please sit down.
Okay.
Point of order.
No, there is point of order, so I have to rule on that one.
No, I'm on a different point of order.
Let me rule on that point of order, then I come back to you, sir. Yes, point of order sustained. We should confine ourselves to... Thank you. There's another point of order.
Thank you.
The member for Woolies.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the point of order is 29.4. It shall be out of order to use, 29.5. No member shall input improper motives to any other member. The honorable member is saying he's apologizing on our behalf because we have used language. I have not used any language. That's what you said.
All right, order, please. Majority Leader, don't use your mic if I don't give you the leave. Now, his point of order is being challenged by the member himself, saying he have not used those words or that term. I will give the opportunity to tell us what terms he used exactly. If there is still disagreement, then I will consult Hansard.
Speaker, as a leader, I've listened keenly. What I used, I'm saying. I am saying, on behalf of the minister, because the comparison of Parliament and Judiciary really hurt did not go down well with members.
No, that was not what you said.
No, okay.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, member for Talina, you want to clarify? No, you know, the issue is there's a point of order. Please, order. The member for Kantora, please, the member for Kantora, I may not be able to use the exact words that he used, but you were apologizing to members on behalf of the minister. And in that you said, for what? Order, please. Order, I'm going to do my ruling on this. Majority Leader, you apologize on, please, I said you apologize on behalf of members.
No.
Please. Yes, please, you apologize on behalf of, you apologize to members. He apologized to please, don't put words in my mouth. He apologized to members on behalf of the minister. On minister trying to compare parliament and the judiciary, that warranted some of the members to some of their language used.
Anyway, Honorable Speaker, I withdraw.
Honorable Speaker.
Sorry. No, yeah, I withdraw. Sorry. So I withdraw.
Yes,
I withdraw.
He was trying. Oh, he withdrawn. That's over. Order or only on.
I want to observe. Please, I'm begging.
No. Yeah, you can only observe when someone is on the floor.
Please, Honorable Speaker, you are on the floor. Can I observe that? Please. I'm begging. For sanity, it's for the whole house.
No, sir. No, sir. You can only observe when a member is on the floor.
Can I dribble then, huh?
No, sir. There is no one is on the floor now. Please, sir. Majority Leader, please proceed. Continue.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. On a more serious note, I'm appealing. There are tools and mechanisms available to us in Parliament. Let's make utmost use of it. Let's refer it to relevant committee. As I said earlier, each and every member has one or two reservations. If these reservations are not put into account, it's not captured, your doubts are not cleared at the committee stage, you are free to reject it. I appeal again, let's allow the bill to sail and be referred to the committee, relevant committee, for further scrutiny, which will create an avenue for a broader spectrum of consultation. And then we tidy it up. All those financial issues that we deem they are not sustainable, we scrap it off. All those things that we think that are not in the best interest of the country, we can remove them. You have the power. This is the last hope. Last man standing is here. Anything that is not approved here is not law. So I appeal. Please, Honorable Speaker, let us allow the bill to go to be referred to committee for further consultation. I thank each of you for your contribution. Like I said, no one should be blamed, no one should be blamed for anything. What you said is guided by conscience and for our nation and the interest of the nation you think. So please, let's allow the bill to be referred to the relevant committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Majority Leader and Member for Kantora. I now invite the Member for Nyamina West.
Thank you very much. I also join my colleagues to thank the Minister for a job well done. And I will also join my Honorable Majority Leader and the Minority Leader, and also other colleagues who joined the Minister's effort in bringing his bill in front of us. So, what is important here is our role as parliamentarians. So, killing the bill upon arrival might not be the solution, but we have a responsibility, and there are many ways to tackle this bill. So, in essence, I join my colleagues in allowing the bill to be committed to a committee, and we make due diligence. That is better to say that we kill a bill upon arrival, and it will not also set a good precedent on other bills that are supposed to come. They've made mention it here that His Excellency, the President, on his Suna, said that there are many bills that will be coming. And other private bills are expected. So, who knows? I urge my colleagues, as mentioned by the majority and the minority, to give the bill a chance. But it's just a framework that is brought in front of us. And we have our capacity as honorable members to look at it and then delete what might not suit the citizens. We also have the capacity to give them not what they demand, but what is best for the nation. But clean the bill upon arrival is not what is expected of us. And I don't think that will be like, I will call, running away from our responsibilities. Our responsibility is not to kill bills here upon arrival. It's to take the bills, they are just a framework that we need to modernize, that we need to put. It's like we have to make the bill palatable. We have to work on the bill. Yeah, you don't expect, please, you don't expect these people to bring us things that are palatable all the time.
Please, members, allow him to contribute. Continue.
Yes, we don't expect them to come. That's why we say bill. That's why we are here, to make laws. So they will come with their bills, and we look at them.
Point of order.
Point of order from who? Member for Fonyi Bintang, Kranai, point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. 29, contempt of speech. 2. 3. It shall be out of order to attempt to consider any specific question upon which the Assembly has taken a decision during current situation. So, the issue here is,
allow him to explain, please.
The honorable member is questioning, and we are not yet in that stage of considering.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang. You are out of order.
Okay. No, thank you. You see, there is a section in the Constitution that was quoted here by my previous speakers, that this is an act of Parliament, and that it is the Constitution that demands it, and that the act for the Parliament is already done. So we should be very fair to look at this from both sides than clean it. I'm not saying per se give the minister that he demands, no. But look at it thoroughly. Code it according to our size. Code it according to the size of our nation's cake. And give them what is due to them. And in fact, according to them, most of these things are already being given out. Like travel allowance. Whether you know it or not yet, these judiciary are already benefiting from traveling allowances. Yes. So most of these allowances that they are talking about are already given. So the minister have stated it. This is, please. I did not obstruct any one of you.
Order, please, honorable members. Member for Central Baribu, please, let's allow him to continue.
They have stated it here. This is just the legal framework to bind their duty, to bind their functions. They have been doing most of these functions that are not already binding legally through the act. So this is just what we are doing to complement the actions are already being taken portion of the judiciary's functions, which is to bring the act here in Parliament. This is what we are doing. That is what we are expected of doing. So, but nobody is telling you that to give them something that we cannot give them. Now, I refer you back to budget sessions. Ministries comes and lobby. Ministries comes and lobby amounts of monies in millions that you give them. But sometimes you don't give them the actuals that they demand. It's just similar. But please, we have to be very much reasonable and conscious of what we are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, member for Nyamina West. Earlier on, point of order was raised by the member for Opanyomi during the deliberation or contribution of the member for Latikonda Sabiji in respect of the question he raised earlier on. And I promised the House that I will get back to you. And his questions to the minister were, one, he wanted to know, he said, what is the projected cost? Two, whether non-Gambians are included? And three, how many judges are in the judiciary from High Court to the Supreme Court? How many judges are in the Gambia? In my ruling here, I hereby rule that the order is dismissed and the questions sustained. Now, I give the floor to the member for Central Badibu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we are debating on the object and the reasons of Judiciary Officers' Remuneration and Other Entitlement Bill 2023. Honorable Speaker, I'm very sad when I hear my colleagues making deliberations as if the standing order and the procedures of lawmaking, how a bill should come through us. We are not here to make a drama. This is a very important and respectable house. We are not here to be using language to kill. I'm going to kill something, it's going to die here. No. We need strong institutions. We don't need strong men. Honorable Speaker, the standing order 68, committal of a bill to committee. If a bill is introduced to the National Assembly, it goes through stages. First reading, second reading, the third reading. We have all right as National Assembly members, whatever we think is not fit in the bill, to take it out. We have the mandate, we have the powers. We can refer it to a committee also to do a further scrutiny, to consult within and outside the country and learn best practices. And that's the norm in this National Assembly. Why this now? How many bills pass through this National Assembly? We refer it to a committee. there is a clause. When a bill has been read a second time, it shall stand referred to the Assembly Business Committee to committee. No later than 3 clear working days after the conclusion of second reading, the Assembly Business Committee on a motion without notice shall commit a bill to refer for detailed investigation and report by a select committee, standing or special select committee, a committee of the whole Assembly. We still have the powers. We still have time. Why the need for us? People make reference to the draft constitution. That was how it was aborted here. So should we also repeat the same history? Let's give ourselves time and our committees. What is the essence of our committee? Somebody made mention of it. Let's give the committee to do the job. If we are not happy, we still have the right to amend. Lawmaking is a process. Honorable member made mention that, we have to save this country. Let's call a spade, Mr. Speaker. We call a spade, and truth is truth, and it's no offense. We gave ourselves salaries in this house and allowances. We passed it here, and you, Deputy Speaker, your salary was increased with the Speaker. We have vehicles we allocated for us, and this is a sister institution that needs to be supported, to be independent, to do their job without any interference. So today you want to, serve yourself. You don't want to serve others. This is complete. This is complete.
Thank you very much for giving me the time. I think
there is point of order from the member for Nyanija.
Honorable Speaker, with all due respect, order 29.5. No members are input in proper motive. That statement is to withdraw honestly, with all honesty.
The order from member for Nyanija sustained. The honorable member for Central Badibu, please withdraw that.
Honorable members, we are quoting each order. I don't input any motive. What I'm saying is the hard fact.
Order.
Is the hard fact.
Order.
Honorable Speaker.
Please, order. Honorable member for Central Badibu, that one is improper motive on members. Please withdraw that.
Honorable Speaker, withdrawn. Honorable Speaker, what I'm saying is very clear. We allocated for ourselves in this house, which is evident. We allocated. We approved a budget for us to be remunerated. And our salaries and
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
They were increased. Honorable
Speaker, point of order.
Point of order.
Point of order by the member for opinion.
Honorable Speaker, point of order 7.3. The Speaker's ruling shall be final. I think the honorable member have to understand the Speaker's ruling shall be final on all questions and procedures and order. Honorable Speaker has asked you to withdraw and refrain from that topic completely. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, may I observe, please?
Let me rule on this. Order sustained. The honorable member for Central Badibu, I sustained the order and I asked you to withdraw. You did, and at the same time you went back again, and that is not expected of you.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker.
Can you please withdraw that?
Honorable, withdrawn. Honorable Speaker, the object and the reason of the bill
Honorable Speaker.
is for us to look at the...
There is point of order from the member for Lower Salon.
No. This is clarification from the member.
No, I'm not sitting down. It's a clarification. It's not point of order. Honorable Speaker, so we're looking at the object and the reason of the bill. I'm not concluding that the bill is completely 100% good. Honorable Speaker, what I am talking is for the bill to be referred to the relevant committee to do their work and come back to the National Assembly, then we make a vote on it. And I'm appealing to members, we should not be sentimental when issues come before us as far as the bills are concerned. I thank you all for your kind attention, though with rejection.
The member for Central Badibu. Thank you. Thank you. I now recognize the member for Tumanna.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, as far as I am concerned, I'm a little bit confused because the way and manner some members are treating the bill is as if the minister is doing something unconstitutional. I am sorry if the language is not correct, but it's as if the minister is doing something that is not in line with constitutional. As far as the minister, what the minister is doing is in line with the constitutional, is in line with the constitution. I think we need to desist from this notion of let's bill come, we are going to kill them at this stage. Definitely speaking, as the previous speakers did mention, as far as Parliament is concerned, we have all tools, we have all materials to see to it that we have to treat bills according to how we should treat them. Because definitely speaking, if we kill this bill at this stage, as far as I'm concerned, we are not doing justice to the bill. I think we have to allow the bill to go, treat the bill, give it to the necessary committee so that they can scrutinize it. They can involve a lot of all the stakeholders that are affected. They can make a lot of consultation. I think that is going to give us more. That is going to give us a correct bill. Okay, because as far as I'm concerned, I believe that there are a lot of things in this bill that are very good. Even though there may be some things that are also not good. So for that being the case, we have to. We should not stop it right now here. We should give it a way to go. Along the way, we remove some bad things that are embedded in it. That is my stand. I want my colleague, we all support the bill for it to be committed to the right committee so that we can do justice to the bill. Like the majority leader and the minority leader stated, we have a mandate. We have a mandate. We are lawmakers. Definitely speaking, we should not be sentimental over issues that are on the floor here. Because killing this bill, as far as I'm concerned, some people are making consultation with their electorate. That is very true. But if the way we are putting it also, actually speaking, doesn't stated what actually how many people you have in your constituency and how many people have consulted you or you have consulted your electorate as far as this bill is concerned. So definitely speaking, let us not see bills and say, okay, it's because of this, it's because of that, we are going to kill it. I don't think that is a right process. That is not a right practice. What is more important is let us allow the bill, free of political sentiment, free of whatsoever. Let's treat the bills the way we should treat them. Actually, if we cannot make a final decision here, let us allow our committees. We have to trust our committees. We have to trust each other. We have to know that we are all here for the betterment of Gambia. If we cannot do things right now here, let us give time for the other group of this parliament to go and sit over it. Because they are there because of that. So the committees, the FPAC or whatsoever committee, I think they are there to do that. Honorable Speaker, as far as I'm concerned, myself, I have a lot of reservations as far as this bill is concerned. But that should not stop. That should not make us to stop this bill and throw it away. Because the lower cadre in the judiciary system and also the cadres, I think this should affect all of them, down to the grassroots, even the I don't know how they call it, even the please allow me. Okay, so I think that is very, very important. I think my stand is...
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
My stand...
The point of order from Fonyi Bintan.
Thank you. Permissible interruption, 32. Point of order 32. elucidate on a point of clarification some matter raised by another member in the course of his or her speech. The honorable member went to a point and said, we want to know what it means. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai, I'm wondering if there can be probably a law that will punish members who are deliberately trying to either mislead or waste the time of Parliament. You are out of order, sir. Please continue.
Thank you very much. The intention is to distract me, but I think I will manage. That's it. Another objection that I have in the bill is about the performance. The performance. But all those things can be figured out when we give it to the committee, so that the committee can be able to have a round table with the relevant stakeholders, so that the ministry need to convince us how is this going to impact the life and livelihood of the people of the Gambia. Because anything that is going to be a law, it should have an impact. So I think those are very, very important. Honorable Speaker, with that few remarks, I beg to take my seat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Member for Tumanna. I now give the floor to the member for Nyani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I first of all thank the Minister for coming up with this proposal, as it is a constitutional right for each of the ministries or any ministry to come with a bill to this National Assembly that need to be looked at. Honorable Speaker, my stand in this bill still stands since the very day I received this document. When I received this document, there's a label that I put on it, and I'm still standing by that. I'm seeing a big no to this document. If we are to sanitize, we already know that there is a problem, that's why we need to sanitize it. Let's look at the salary structure. Let's look at the traffic officers that are dying on our highways, and nothing is even given to their families. Honorable Speaker, the Minister started with comparison, and I think that comparison is very important. I'm urging him for him to go back with this document to compare the bill and the economic situation of this country to see whether it suits our economy or not. Honorable Speaker, after consulting my people, I am to be guided by my opinion. After going through the bill, there is no need for us to refine it. There is no need for us to sanitize it, but let it go back until it suits the standard of the Assembly and also suits the standard of the economy for us to approve it. On that note, I rest my case.
Thank you very much, honorable members. May I now invite the Attorney General and Minister for Justice to respond to issues raised and wind up the debate.
I think my brother from Congo South said September is a difficult month. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I first have to start by clarifying what I said. If we had the opportunity of making reference to the Hansard, I think it would have helped. It's very difficult if you are misunderstood and you have to sit to allow that misunderstanding to repeat and repeat for hours, and you don't have the opportunity to clarify. That was why on 2 occasions I was trying to seek the floor, but your standing orders, I think, dictates otherwise, so I have to wait for my turn to make a clarification. Yes, I made a comparison, but the comparison that I made is being taken out of context completely. All I said is the Constitution have made provisions for Act of National Assembly to provide for conditions of service for certain organs of government. It has made provisions under Section 95 for the National Assembly. The National Assembly one has been passed in 1997 and amended in 2007. It has made provisions for former presidents. That was also passed. The ministers also have got act that dictates their gratuity payment and other things. Judiciary is the only organ of state that do not have an act of National Assembly, and that is prescribed under the Constitution as well, like other organs of government. They don't have it. That was what I was saying. I was not comparing the content of your conditions of service as opposed to the content of the conditions of service against the other sectors of government. I didn't say that. So I was not looking at what Parliament has, judiciary should have that, or what judiciary should have, executive should have that. That was not my argument. All I'm saying is, and I'm not blaming Parliament for that, all I'm saying is we are far behind schedule. This bill is long overdue. Because the 1997 Constitution prescribed we should have one bill like this for Assembly. We've got it. We should have one like this for the Executive. We got it. We should have one like this for the Judiciary. We've not had it since 97 when this Constitution came into being. That was all the purported intent of my comparison. I never said, okay, Parliament had a vehicle, so Judiciary should have a vehicle. I was not comparing anything of that kind because I knew very well that the terms and conditions of service of various organs of government cannot be the same. So there is no need for me to do that comparison. And I think I need to make that clarification so that people understand that I was not saying what is provided for Parliament or what is provided for Judiciary should equally be provided for another organ. No, I was not comparing the content of your terms and conditions. I was saying the same Constitution that says Parliament should have an act to prescribe your terms and conditions is the same Constitution that also prescribes Judiciary should have a similar bill, and this bill is coming in that spirit. So I'll make an attempt to clarify some of the issues raised, but the unusual thing happened. Usually if us from the executive moves a bill, the member that seconds is supported. For me, the member that even seconded my bill opposed it. So that's very unusual. And that is my honorable friend from Upper Salum. Is it lower? Lower Salum. But that's okay. That's normal. You are barely doing your job. So no qualms about that. But I wanted to start, before looking at various specific comments that were raised, to state that the judiciary is an arm of government. And if we do not empower them, even your job as legislators is incomplete. Because the laws that you made are interpreted and enforced by the judiciary. The other comparisons that members were making, like other members of the society, doctors, engineers, teachers, they are not an organ of government. They are part of the executive. And there is a public service and a Public Service Act and a Public Service Commission that looks into the affairs of those people. I agree with you. The conditions may not be at the level where we all want them to be, but we are going through a reform. And this reform has to come in bits. So you know that there is a new public service ministry created and there is a public service review. So other professions that are working in government belong to the executive, and they are under the Public Service Commission, and the Public Service Act applies there. Just like you have the Judicial Service Commission dealing with judicial service for judicial officers, and we have the National Assembly Service dealing with National Assembly matters. So these are the three organs which I think we are all comfortable with, we all understand. So this time we are talking about the judiciary and the judicial officers. So these are recommendations that we received from them. For us at Cabinet, we went through it. We are okay. It is your turn, and I beg you give it that opportunity to go through it. At this stage, from a lot of things that I have had, it appears you need time to even understand the content of the bill probably better. And part of the general things I'm saying, just last year, the National Assembly Service have recruited one of my best draft persons from my ministry. This is a good sign. It means our National Assembly is not where it was a couple of years ago. The National Assembly Service is improving. You have a skilled draft person now among your staff. That means you can redraft bills. You are not, this is not like take or leave situation. When you send it to the committee, you can add, you can remove, you can edit, and you have the capacity in-house now to do that. So you can open it to consultation. The other parties that probably you think have not been consulted, nothing is stopping you from consulting them during your consultations so that their views are adequately represented. So it's not a situation where take it or leave it. But I think we've drafted, good or bad, you are in receipt of it now. You are now fully seized with this bill. What you do with it is entirely in the hands of the National Assembly. And I urge you to take a closer look to the bill because it has a lot of good in it. Same said, what is the urgent in this? And I think many other speakers repeated it because it's a provision in the draft constitution and so on, but eventually agreed that it should go to committee. Now, even constitutions usually, of course, the draft constitution that failed here contained some aspect of this, not all of it, but constitutions usually will not contain all the details. Even if the constitution is passed, it might say there is a need for an act of parliament to give the details. And that is why this bill is coming. So even if we had the draft constitution, we might still need an act of parliament to do the details. Because the constitution will not be able to spell out all the details that a legislation can contain. So the argument that, why not wait for the draft constitution? I'm saying even if the draft constitution is passed, you will still need an act of parliament for the judiciary to define and elaborate on their terms and conditions of service. I saw Councillor raise something that many other members also alluded to, which is, on the face of it, it looks discriminatory. The magistrates have not been covered. But magistrates are already covered. To the extent to which they are covered might be said not adequate as compared to judges. But this is something we can work on. Let me, at this stage, do a clarification on, because we all partake jointly in legislative process. I saw a member quoting Section 100 of the Constitution, which vests the legislative powers of this country in this National Assembly. At the executive level, bills originate from sectors. Even within government, it's at central government. The sector initiates the bill-making process. And when they initiate it, we expect them, not Ministry of Justice, the sector that is initiating the legislative process for that sector that they want to regulate, they initiate the legislative making process and they do all the consultations, and quite often, in fact, they bring a zero draft to us at Justice. We possess the skill to draft it to standard, and then the sector takes it to cabinet. When it is endorsed in cabinet, then it comes here. In this case, I would not be able to respond as to the extent of consultation because it is initiated from the sector, and the sector here is the judiciary. This is very similar if I receive a bill from the National Assembly that you want me to table on your behalf. I wouldn't question because I will assume National Assembly Service would have done all the consultation before they sent me the bill. So I received this bill from the judiciary. My understanding was judiciary may have done their own internal consultations already before it came to me. So my responsibility was to take it to cabinet, and cabinet did its part of the review. So it is now for the National Assembly to do its part of the review. But like I said, at committee stage, magistrates can be invited, caddies can be invited, and they can have their representation and their views can be harvested and see how best, if you think they are not adequately covered, how best they can be covered. So I have talked about so many other things that probably Councillor continues to say regarding the the teachers, the directors. The 2 months leave, I think Councillor also mentioned the 2 months leave, which subsequently I think Latrikunda Sabiji mentioned. The leave period for the judiciary. This has been a debate even within among ourselves. I mean legal fraternity. Judges have a longer leave than almost everybody else. It's a fact. Because courts close at the end of July. That's the superior courts. The subordinate courts, the magistrates continue to work. They are only entitled to normal 1 month annual leave like everybody else. But the superior courts close at end of July and they open the beginning of October. So you have the month of August and September during the summer. And the Christmas, they break. To observe the Christmas is very short, usually a week, at most 2. And a similar break is also enjoyed for Easter break. So cumulatively, in a year, you can put their holiday to be between 2 to 2.5 months, or close to 3 months. Now, in some quarters, they believe, okay, why should they get more leave than, somebody told me, why should the judge get more leave than even the president? Who gets 1 month? Ministers get 1 month. I don't know how long you people have your leave. But the thing is, some things are unique to certain professions. And like some of you, the speakers, were saying, we shouldn't be comparing everything. Like, don't compare apples and oranges. So there are certain things that are unique to the profession. Because their holiday is linked to the closure of the court. So if the court is closed, they go. But, I would say you can invite the bar, you can invite other people to give you their thoughts on this. But all I know is the current status of the leave is dictated by the Courts Act, because under the Courts Act, I believe Section 6 of the Courts Act allows the Rules Committee to make rules and prescribe the holiday period, the times that the court will close. So it's not cast in stone. And I consulted the judiciary, and they are not even also averse to their leave being reduced. But also, the members of the bar also benefit from this leave, because when the court is closed, it's the time when the lawyers are on break as well. They enjoy their leave and they want to travel, they want to do their things. So if we say the courts probably, instead of closing end of July, they should continue to close by end of August, this is something else. I believe the judiciary is not averse to it. But if it is only the long leave that we are averse to, like I said, all of these things can be trashed out when we allow the bill to go to further consultation. Nominated member Fofana, I think, asked about how many judges do we have, how much they are paid, how many. This is close to the questions that were asked by Latrikunda Sabiji. Judges we have currently, the answer that I got is 27 judges throughout the country. So it's not a big number. So, and they are the only profession that retire at 75. The rest of the public service retire at 60. Judges retire at 75. At 75. That's their compulsory retirement age. No, at 65, if you get 65, you can, like in the public service, there is voluntary and compulsory retirement age. So at 65, approaching 75, between 65 and 75, you can have the option of retiring, taking a retirement, provided that certain conditions are met. But the compulsory retirement age is 75 for judges. And if you retire at 75, anyway, I leave that to the rest of you to think about it. But that's only time they can stand to benefit from this kind of pension and another thing. So judges currently there are 27. we do not foresee in the near future of our total number of judges hitting anywhere 50 at most in the foreseeable future. We cannot double this number. I mean, we are a very small country. Even if we have to put courts in the regions and everywhere and they are all fully functional, we do not see ourselves doubling this number very soon. I'm not saying it will really happen, but not very soon. So we're talking about 27 people. So if you compare that to the rest of the public service, we're only talking about 27 people. Of course, if we bring in the magistrates, the number expands, because the magistrates are far more than the number of judges. The magistrates and cadis are all mentioned in the bill. So like I said, probably what is provided for them, in terms of vehicular allocation, I had some of the members raise that, it's not as automatic right that they get vehicle, but they will be entitled to vehicle loan under the normal public service scheme, and so on. So these are things that at committee level we can elaborate, discuss, and trade off if necessary. Nyanija, okay, I have not recorded much except that you are vehemently opposed. Kiangwe's former president's law, spouses of judges, gratuity, National Assembly. Now, the gratuity that is proposed to be paid to the spouses of judges is ordinarily, the bill talks about pension and gratuity. So they are entitled to pension if they retire normally. That you have the power to adjust. Now, the salary is being left to regulation. I think that's an important one, still on the upper side. But if you go through into the bill, the Judicial Service Commission will only make a proposal if their salaries is to be reviewed. And the proposal is to be sent to the President for approval. And even if the President approves it, it has to come to Parliament because you approve the budget. So they are not going to give themselves an automatic pay rise. They cannot. And it's important, I think, at this point, let me say, those of you who are concerned about the economic impact of this bill on the economy, there is no direct economic impact of this at the moment. Because passing this bill doesn't mean the judiciary, their current remuneration system is going to change. It's no. They are going to continue where they are until at such time that the overall public service pay is going to be reviewed. Then the law, this bill, if you read it, it says they are only entitled to suggest review of their pay only when the overall public service is doing a review. Then they can also review. And when they review, they are not going to approve it for themselves. They send it to the President for approval. If the President approves it, it has to be in the draft budget and brought here. So they don't have an automatic right of raising their own pay. Nobody does that. So like I said, I think some of these things, when we go into the committee stage, they can be explained further. And if they are not clear, or you reserve the right, like I said, once they're explained and you understand them, you are not happy, you can change them. But I think you need to give yourself the opportunity for it to be better explained. So, yes, the Judicial Service Commission will have the right to propose their pay, salary allowances and gratuity in a regulation. But if it is going to change from the current one, they will have to seek approval from the President.
Honourable Minister.
Well, the Speaker, I cannot give you the floor. The Speaker can give you the floor, not me. So,
Honourable Speaker.
Okay. All right. So I'm asked to continue. I used to have a lecturer that says, don't disorganize my organized way of thinking. So sometimes when you interrupt, it can affect the flow. So yes, so there's no worry that we are entrusting the Judicial Service Commission by regulation to propose a salary structure for the judiciary. That salary structure will be subject to further approvals, so it's not automatic. Now, Busumbala said current economic situation, magistrates left out, like I said, some of these things were repeated. Security, how about the security generals, police commissioners? Okay. Now, on the issue of economic situation, I think I explained that. The impact of this bill economically on our budget, you are the ones who passed budget, you will see. Because this went through cabinet and we have sought but you can still invite Minister of Finance or his experts. You don't have to rely on what I'm telling you. But Ministry of Finance have gone through it and they are satisfied. There is no immediate financial impact of this bill. Because how many judges will be on retirement at any given point in time if they have to retire at 75? Currently, we have only 2 Gambian judges on retirement since the creation of the judiciary in the Gambia. Only 2 judges ever retire for 50 years after independence. So at any point in time, how many judges are we going to have in retirement? So, and those 2, unfortunately, are not captured here because there is no retrospective clause. They retired, I think, sometime last year or year before last. So, on the issue of other securities, all I can say to that Honorable Member for Busumbala, the reforms are coming. But it has to be by sector. I can say from my knowledge, I know the Armed Forces Conditions on Service Act, what they call the TACOS, is being reviewed, it's finalized. The police are reviewing their act. So reviews are going, because we are going through a transition. I'm not too sure whether we have to say we wait until everybody is ready, we come at once, which is difficult, because I don't think that's the way government operates. For today, we are dealing with this one. And this is part of the reform and the judicial reform that we are doing. If, like somebody said, if we want to attract talent, and we want to retain talent in the Gambian judiciary, we really have to do the needful. So, for that Honorable Member for Busumbala, work is on and is ongoing for other sectors and as well. So, Brikama North, I thank you. Not much issues raised that I should respond to, very supportive. And the issue of Gambianization has been raised through. Before now, probably one of the reasons why there was no much need for this bill to come for all those years since '97, probably there was no possibility of Gambian judges even retiring. Maybe when we have started seeing 1 or 2 judges have retired in the last 2 years, we said, oh, we then need to make a provision for this. Because before, our judiciary was manned by non-Gambians. So they don't retire on our bench. They are on contract and then they go home. So there was no need for their pension or gratuity issue to be legislated. Now we are Gambianizing the judiciary. And we have, like I said, we have now seen 2 judges retire. And there is no legislation talking about their gratuity payment or their pension. So we said, no, then there is a gap. If we have it as ministers, MPs have it, judges should have it. Fair. Bakau also made mention, similar to Busumbala and other speakers, directors, nurses, but my answer will remain the same. They are under the larger public service purview, and I agree with members who emphasize that they cannot be left behind. There is a need for that review too. I'm not directly in charge of that. So those of you who say, Minister, take your bill back, and when the entire review is ready, you come. I'm not in charge of that. But this one, I'm in charge of the justice policy, and we're moving. But not all sectors move at the same pace. But we take your word for it, and we take note that there is a need for a general overview or review of other professionals as well. You also raise economic impact, but the answer is the same. Nominated CISE, acknowledges controversial, but issues of exemption from tax, how about the... Okay, and we went again, I hope you will accord the bill an opportunity to move beyond this stage. Also mentioned magistrates being left. Also talked about magistrates. But Sabah Sanjal raised a very good point. He made a constitutional reference of section 68(2), which talks about just the same way I talked about 95 for parliament, and I think 142 for the judiciary as we are here. 68.2 is the one that also said the president's pension, gratuity, and other things should be prescribed by an act of parliament. He is concerned about the current economic situation, but this is not going to be a monetary bill on the current budget as it stands. So, but Finance Ministry can tell you that at your consideration stage. You don't have to take my word for it. Jarol, I'm not too sure whether I should repeat your words. But I don't think this is an attempt to coup anybody. Because I said you mentioned the word coup against the public service. Of course, you are right. Some of the provisions came from the draft constitution, but it talks beyond that. Joshua, welfare of the top leaving the bottom. The legislation, the section 142 that we're making reference to, the one that we are taking a cue from, says a judge of a superior court shall be entitled to such salary allowance and on retirement such gratuity and pension as may be prescribed by an act of National Assembly. So, maybe by whatever reason, the subordinate courts, the lower ones were not mentioned by section 142. But I will bring forward the concern of Serekunda, member for Serekunda, that whether that will not raise legality issues of the bill, because the cadis and magistrates that have been mentioned in the bill have not been mentioned in section 142 of the Constitution. I would say no. It didn't exclude them either, so there's nothing wrong adding them. If they were mentioned and left out, that's a problem. But it mentioned a superior court judge. So the bill, in essence, is progressive. It included those that are not mentioned. The minimum requirement is the judges. But it talks about, the bill is talking about the judges and added magistrates and cadis. So this is okay. But Honorable Member for Joshua, yes, all judicial officials face certain form of risk. When I was leaving the judiciary, I was a magistrate. I left as principal magistrate. I know the risk. I've been going to work either on my own private vehicle or sometimes on taxi. I have convicted people, and I met with them in the street after serving their prison term. They shake my hand and say, "You recognize me?" And I said, "No, sir." They say, "I was the one you convicted." Right. So, I have got colleagues who boarded a taxi and they sit next to an accused person that they are going to be hearing their case when they arrive. Yes. So, that's to show you, yes, the risk is there. We are trying to mitigate that risk as much as we can. Of course, again, based on the availability of resources and whatever. So, but the job that judicial officers do, yes, to be honest with you, is far completely different from the kind of job that most of us do. We are all important, but we have to recognize that there's unique differences in the kind of jobs that we do. Banjul Central. A slight misunderstanding. Is Banjul Central here? Yes, just a slight probably misunderstanding I need to clarify, because I quoted you saying yes, you agree the ministry's needs need to be taken care of. However, what is specifically, this is not specifically about the Ministry of Justice. This is judiciary. Quite sometimes people confuse the two. Judiciary is not under me, per se. I'm in charge of the justice policy, but judiciary is an organ. It's like when we have a minister for parliamentary affairs. Doesn't mean the parliament is under him. So that's the issue. So this is a complete organ of government. So this bill is not self-serving, per se. You know, it's not self-serving. Okay, quite a lot of concerns about the pension being equated to the salary, and the fact that it will increase whenever their counterparts who are serving their pay increases. I see this is a key issue. When this bill was drafted, a comparative study was done in the sub-region, especially in Commonwealth countries. And this is what I'm told they found. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. So we are not doing this in an isolation. But subject it to committee, get experts, solicit people to come and advise you better. Don't take my word for it, but I urge you to submit it to committee. Because judges are not only prevented from practicing their skill to earn the living after they left, but they cannot even also use it even while they are serving on the bench. They cannot go for extra income. They cannot. A medical practitioner can open a private clinic, can run a pharmacy. A judge is not allowed to practice law outside of the chamber of the court while in service, number one. So their entire income will be limited to what you pay them. And when they leave office, they are also not allowed to practice their skill to earn a living. So that is unique. There are several reasons. Well, okay. So I hear why, but I'm told don't answer. So let me just limit the answers to what is here, unless I receive supplementary questions. Of course, the need to assess, I agree with you, whether it went through need assessment. I think these things need to be established, like I said. So when it gets to committee, we will satisfy ourselves whether all this is done. Woodley East. Honorable member for Woodley East mentioned building bureaucracy. But then, again, went further to say, well, the bill is just a proposal. I agree, it's just a proposal, so you have full right to look at the proposal and do what you want to do with it. But you made mention of per dieming, equating the per diems with VP and others. I need to explain this. And I'm not saying it's cast in stone again. It's something that you can look at consideration stage. But what we looked at is, this is only for per diem when they travel out of the country. And like one of the contributor speakers said, most of the things in this bill are already in place, you know, they are not new. Probably some of you are scared that we are introducing something new. They are already paid per diems when they travel, like any one of us. We are only codifying. They only get, some of them who, if government can afford to give them quotas, they are already in quotas. For those that government cannot afford to give them quotas, they are paid the housing allowance. That's why it's an alternative, either or. They already have their securities in their homes, orderlies and securities. So most of the provisions in this bill here, we are not bringing new things. We are codifying it because it has never been codified before. But for per diem, it is the Chief Justice that is put at the same level with the Vice President. The judges of the Supreme Court are put at the same level with the ministers. Then the judges of the Court of Appeal, the same level with the permanent secretaries. The rest of the judicial officers will be determined by their level in the public service. Basically, that was what it said. And that's only limited to per diem when they travel out of the country. I don't know your per diem rates as National Assembly where they travel. I don't know whether any kind of pegging was done. But that's not a bad comparison. There's nothing wrong if National Assembly will peg your per diem to another sectors. Normally we do that. That's best practice. Because you cannot fix these rates in isolation. You must have a baseline where you compare it against. So that's all that is being done. To say Chief Justice per diem should be at the same level with Vice President of the Republic when he travels. The judges in the Supreme Court the same level as ministers when he travels. Unfortunately, we didn't extend the comparison to you because we don't know your per diem. We only know ours. So we said the Court of Appeal judges will be the level of the PSs, and that is it. Probably if yours is higher, we will link it to yours. I don't know whether it's lower. Oh, okay. Then we have, of course, still on Woolies, you made mention of the Constitution JSC function. Just consider this as one of those recommendations of the JSC that you made reference to, 147B. So it's now a recommendation that is we are trying to codify. So take it as it is JSC that sat and performing their constitutional function, and they had a list of recommendations, and now we are bringing it to be codified. Makes life easy. Bundung, was there any proper consultation? Like I said, I take full ownership of the bill, but I was not involved at the consultative stage. But I invite and encourage you, like other speakers have said, at the committee level like you normally do. Even if we have done consultation, normally, you still do your own second consultation to verify. So still, I think you do your consultation at your level. And you made a very good point, Bundung. I don't know where can I find Bundung now again. Where? Oh, okay, yes. Made a very good, valid point on overall we should look into the issue of destitution of people who have served their nation. And I think this is a very good point. I cannot agree with you more. It's difficult for somebody, in whatever capacity, and in this case it's a general response I'm giving, not only to judiciary. If you serve your country at certain level, for certain period, it doesn't tell well us on a nation, as a nation. After that kind of service, you will find you in the street in destitution. To be honest with you, as a nation, it doesn't tell well on us. I don't want to give examples, but I'm just agreeing with honorable member that honestly, yes, and like you said, I'm very au fait with the Local Government Act. The last time I checked, there was no pension available to councillors, irrespective of how many terms they came back. It's only available to mayors and chairpersons if they do 3 terms. I agree with you, but this is why probably as a nation, slowly, step by step, we're reforming. But if each reform comes, we kill that one. When are we going to get there? So I encourage you, let's not kill. This is one of many reforms that we are supposed to do. And all these reforms cannot come at one go. No matter how much ambitious we are, they cannot all come at once. They have to come one at a time. So Bundung, I agree with you on that point. Talinding made mention of, okay, I know at some point, oh, okay, good. Yes, I have made a clarification of what I termed to be the misunderstanding that was going around about what I said. You and Kiang West are the 2 MPs I had that really, I believe, probably an nominated member Fofana, who understood, probably, in my view, exactly what I said. I was not intending in any way to compare National Assembly conditions of service with conditions of service of any other organ. All I was saying is the Constitution provided for conditions of service for all these organs. We've done for 2. 1 is outstanding. Can we just do it for them so that we complete the constitutional requirements? So thank you for that clarification. So you also raised concern about caddies and magistrates have been left out. They have not been left out, probably not adequately covered. But caddies and magistrates have been defined to include the meaning of judicial officers, and they are judicial officers. I think this was still Talinding. It's disheartening to hear that you met a magistrate holding proceedings in a police station. Very, very abnormal. But these are some of the probably infrastructure challenges we are dealing with. But I would take that note seriously. I don't think that can be encouraged. How about, I mean, I take serious note of that. So, some of you use strong words as probably is discriminatory against magistrate. I would say not discriminatory. I would just say they may not be adequately covered, but you are at liberty to see what is possible. But the good thing is, hardly there will be a magistrate that will retire as a magistrate. Because there's a chain of elevation in this profession. Magistrates ultimately always become judges. So, hardly you have a magistrate that will retire and ask for pension as magistrate. That will be very, very, very rare. Every magistrate is aspiring to become a judge. So when you talk about the pensions and gratuity of judges, you are definitely including magistrates indirectly in the pension. I'm not talking about other facilities. Other facilities that they are left out, we can talk about it. But when you talk about retirement benefits of judges, magistrates aspire to become judges. So naturally, they will benefit by the time they reach retirement. So when it comes to retirement and gratuity, they are not left out. But probably issue of vehicle, fuel, and other things for which seemingly they are left out, I think that can be dealt with at consultative stage. But you'll not, I'm halfway into my presentation. I hope I'm making an impact. You are clearly against the bill. Brikama South also had a concern about JSC doing regulations, but I tried to explain that. They may do the regulation, but when it comes to their remuneration, they don't have right to approve it for themselves. It will be a proposal. And unless that proposal is approved, that aspect of the regulation will not stand. And I think we can just take respite in the fact that there is no entity in government that have the right to set their own pay. Everything comes here. There is no entity in government that can set their own pay. It will always have to come here. So I don't think there should be any fear about that. It will always come here. That is your prerogative, and nobody can take that away from you. Also made mention of overall salary restructuring and things like that. I agree. I hope you will soon receive the Public Service Minister to come and talk to you about details of that. Jara Central. Oh, okay. Then, okay. Yeah, he is also concerned about why leave out the public service restructuring. And like I repeat myself, at the appropriate time, the appropriate sector will bring that issue before you. Jimara suggests and supports the bill to go to committee. Fonyi Bintang. I have no right to ask a member to do anything about their language. I know your rights on the floor, but I can also respond that it's not a scam. You used this to describe the bill as a scam, but it's not a scam. We are not nobody is scamming anybody. Nobody can scam anybody using a bill, because the bill will come to the country's Bantaba. So it's really not a scam. 24 Lower Fuladu West, also used to describe the bill as an economic coup. I'm not too sure how economic coup is it. I think from my answers, and you are at liberty to invite the Ministry of Finance to talk to you directly. Like I said, you don't have to take my word for it. But the economic impact of this bill on the economy is very minimal. Is very, very minimal. But Ministry of Finance can come and clarify. Jara West also made mention of something that should be of concern to everybody, that the house allowance of a police officer, according to his information, stands at 250. Right? So, again, these are all issues as a government. I'm sure the right sectors are listening, so appropriate steps will be taken. Combo South, I started with him. I'll take note of September, my big brother. I will really, really take note of September and avoid bringing certain bills in September. You know, but I thank you for the support that the bill goes to consideration stage, and I think that is the best approach. Sandu said it is not citizen or budget-friendly bill. Let me make this clear. To a great extent, our social stability depends on judiciary. You can agree to disagree with me, but it's one institution that the role that they play contributes to a great extent to the social stability of the country. Whenever there is a dispute, we count on the judiciary to separate us. Whether these disputes are institutional, individual, family, religious, whatever kind of dispute in society, we count on the judiciary. So the people who sit there to separate us when we have issues, whether over land, or whether over business, or whether over religion, or whether over fundamental human rights, or whatever, those people should, their conduct and ethical behavior should be beyond reproach. Their behavior should be beyond temptation. We should not allow them to be tempted by anything else. If they are tempted, that is a problem for society, because their decisions will be influenced. And if their decisions are influenced, you will not know how painful it is unless a judicial decision that you believe should have come your way goes against you. There can be a judicial decision that robs you of your house, your only compound that you have. You can lose it as a result of a judicial decision. Somebody said sometimes it could be a matter of life and death. So the people who sit to decide those things, we should prepare them such a way that they should not fall for petty temptations. And that's all that we are trying to do here. People who decide over millions and billions, they decide over life and death. They decide over when two people are arguing over land. They decide over when two people have an issue over fundamental rights, election disputes. Count them. Those people, I believe, if they can fall for corruption, bribery, is that not a risk to society? That's it. So if you describe the bill as not pro-citizen, I think probably you are misunderstanding this. You're looking at the bill from one side. But we are also citizens of the Gambia, and we believe this bill will serve the interests of this country. You can agree, you can disagree. But that is why we brought it here. Sanementereng. Would want me to explain the pension of the CJ? Yes. If a Chief Justice serves in office minimum 5 years and above, is entitled to pension. That's only available to the Chief Justice in the bill. For the rest of the judges, they have to serve a minimum of 10 years. The reason for this is, yes, 75 might be the retirement age, but we don't want a situation where somebody can do private practice until you are 70. You get yourself appointed on the bench, serve 5 years, and you go home with this benefit. So to avoid that, we say minimum, before you can be entitled to the pension, you must serve minimum 10 years. So even if you are 75, if you have not served the 10 years, you are not benefiting from the pension. So those are some attempts to put in some safeguards. If you think those safeguards are not enough, you are free to put in more safeguards. I don't know whether you see what we're saying. So this is not an automatic right. Upper Fuladu West, okay. He said he saw. I presented this bill, but I don't believe in this bill myself. But I think that was withdrawn later, isn't it? Yeah, so I can move on that. I really believed in the bill. Magistrates and caddies are left out. It's similar, the same issues raised. Janjambure, economic situation of the country, but I think I've answered. But you can take further consultation from Ministry of Finance. Our understanding is this doesn't have any direct economic impact on the budget as it stands. It only kicks in two ways this can hit the budget. If Judiciary's current pay structure is to be reviewed, and I told you, that will not happen without your approval. The second way this can hit the budget would be if we see judges retiring. The closest judge to retiring still have at least 3 years to go. And the rest are very far away from retiring, out of the 27 currently serving. At any point in time, how many of them will be retiring? So the impact of it on the budget. It may sound big if you say somebody is retiring with full salary, but how many of them are retiring with full salary? 1, 2 at any given time, or 3? So just to satisfy you, that doesn't mean, but just to satisfy you that the direct economic impact of the budget may be very negligible because they are not reviewing their current pay. Passing this bill today doesn't mean judiciary pay will rise tomorrow. No. They are continuing the way they are until at such time they see the need to revise it. And when that is happening, it will not be secret. Everybody will be aware that there is a proposal to review their pay and it will come here. So that was Janyambure. Larikundas Haviji, your first question was answered. I think about 2 of them were answered. The first one, how many judges? I am told 27, definitely below 30, even if that figure is wrong. What is the projected cost? I can't tell at the moment. I can only give the general answer that I was giving, that our anticipated cost of this on the budget is, we cannot even establish now because if the 2 on retirement were going to benefit, we could have calculated that and tell you currently it will cost us this much. But the 2 that are on retirement are not covered. And there is no other judge on retirement as we speak. So with respect to pension and gratuity, zero cost on the budget. With respect to facilities, all those that have been mentioned that they are entitled to SOFOL-driven vehicle and fuel, currently they all have SOFOL-driven vehicle and fuel. So it's not going to be a new added item. So the impact of this on the budget at the moment, I cannot say 0, but it will be very, 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 very minimal. So like I said earlier, the only time we will see impact is when we are revising, either we are revising their pay or we start seeing judges retiring. These are the 2 scenarios that will kick in a financial implication. So that was your second question. The third one, performance contract. You've raised a very important, very, very, very important issue. Of course, if I am motivating you, giving you more facilities, I have every right to check your delivery. Natural. And I have no problem in that kind of thing be considered at consideration stage. Judges, like anybody who serves the public, cannot be above accountability. So if you think with this there is a need for kind of performance measurement as to their output, fair and good, I have no problem with that. That's a good point. Serekunda.
Honorable members, please order.
Yes, Serekunda, I think I attempted to answer you earlier. Yeah, so it's not an illegality. Your concern is whether the bill will stand the legality test when you consider Section 142 of the Constitution. Because Section 142 of the Constitution says a judge, and did not mention cadis and magistrates. And the bill goes beyond judges and mentions cadis and magistrates. I'm safely saying no, that's not an illegality. Because the Section 142 did not exclude them. It mentioned judges, but did not exclude them. So that's why in the definition of the bill, judicial officers have been defined. And so then we should have judicial officers too who are independent. And people will not be independent if they can be influenced. And the easiest way to influence somebody is to give them what they don't have. So if you pay them less, people give them money, they can easily be tempted, and if they are tempted, they will be influenced. So the independence of the judiciary is critical to be guaranteed with this kind of bill. But also, if we have to attract the right caliber of people to sit there. Because, again, the judiciary need to have the best brains. We don't want any judge to be every lawyer to be a judge. Because if you have a case, let's take an example. If you have a case, you are going to court, and this is a very critical case for you, and if you can afford it, you want to hire the best lawyers, isn't it? Now, if you're hiring the best lawyers, why don't we have the best judges sitting there waiting for them? Because otherwise, if you don't have the right quality of judges sitting there, people who can afford the best judges might end up getting justice on their side. So if you think if I'm involved in a legal battle and I can afford it, I want to hire the best lawyer possible. The state would have hired the best judge sitting there waiting for your best lawyer. So you will still get what you deserve. But if we allow mediocrity in the judiciary, we allow people to sit there who cannot match the lawyers in private practice, then there's a problem. That is a problem. I don't know whether you're seeing the problem I'm trying to paint here. And the only way we can attract the best brain to sit there is to give them what it takes for them to abandon what they are doing to come and sit there. If not, they will not be there. So I think that's another one that we should take on board. And like I said, having said all, is the integrity bit of it also. Yes, there are certain human beings that do not need monetary reward to maintain integrity. However, we all know the temptations. We all know the temptation. The safest bargain for us is to help them to resist temptation than only to count on them to resist temptation based on their integrity. So if we have to preserve the integrity of the judiciary, we have to help them to resist temptation. And for that, if they know when they retire, they will be taken care of. They will not be interested in amassing wealth while they are in office in order to secure their retirement. Because they know when they retire, the state will take care of them. But if they don't have any security when they retire, they will plan for their retirement. I'm not saying they are like that or that is what they are doing. But what I'm saying is we make them feel more comfortable to do their job with a peace of mind, to tell them, look, you know what? We appointed you in this place. Your only job is to deliver justice. Deliver justice until when you retire. And when you retire at 75, we can take care of you for the last remaining years of your life. The person would not be busy doing anything unethical. On that note, I end by urging you once more, and I urge you strongly, to allow the bill to go to committee stage. Give yourself the opportunity to interact with the experts, with the interest groups, for them to come and express their various interests for you in the bill, and then you are at liberty to do whatever you want to do with the bill. But give it an opportunity because it is a constitutional requirement, Section 142 of the Constitution, that there must be an act of parliament that will prescribe the terms and conditions of service for judicial officers. And that is all that we are doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The member for Latikunda? Yeah, the member for Latikunda? Yes?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I want to rise on motion 53K to appeal to the Attorney General to supply the National Assembly with the code of conduct of judges. Because you say judges do this, they don't do that, they don't do it. I'm sure it must be the code of conduct. Can you supply us with it? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Member for Lower Floor, your mic is on, please. Thank you. The member for Latikunda Sabeji, that's not a motion. You are requesting for him to supply.
Okay, request. I reform my statement. Request now, Attorney General. Thank you.
Member for Lower Salum.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The member has the ministers make a response. But then, Honorable Speaker,
Attorney General.
Yeah, one of my points was not dealt by the minister, and he cannot give us any guarantee and assurance, and he cannot justify these documents in the eyes of Parliament, because the Minister of Finance cannot come here and just justify these documents. This document belongs to him. He needs to give us the integrity of the bill, how to budget the bill. If he can't do it, and he allow the minister to come, it is not the Minister of Finance bill, it's your bill. So means that's it.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the bill entitled Judiciary Officers Remuneration and Other Entitlement Bill 2023 order be read a second time. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. Yes, now we will vote by raise of tax. Because even myself, I couldn't know where to go. So now let's count. Those in favor, please raise your constituency tax. Those in favor for it to pass. Please, honorable members, whether committee also is those in favor for it to pass to the next stage.
No.
Those not in favor, please raise your constituency tax. Honorable members, the results is as follows. Yes, 18 votes. No, 21 votes. I hereby announce that therefore the bill is not carried and it is lost. Clerk, please, let's proceed. Order, please, order. Thank you, Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice.
Bill.
Oh, Honorable Attorney General. Yes.
Bill.
Order, please. Please.
Standing Order 66, second reading of the Constitution Amendment Bill 2023 by Honorable Alajimbo, member for Upper Salem.
Order, please. Order, please. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, you will recall that the first reading of the Constitution Amendment Bill. Order, please. Honorable members, the member for Jara West, Jara East, and those in the Minister's Gallery. Honorable members, you will recall that the first reading of the Constitution Amendment Bill 2023 was done on Thursday, 7 September 2023, and today is appointed for the second reading in accordance with Standing Order 66-2. Therefore, pursuant to Order 67 of the Standing Orders, I now invite the Honorable Member for Upper Salem to move a motion for the second reading of the bill entitled Constitution Amendment Bill 2023.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move a motion